When did you buy this movie?
The week it was released.
When did we watch this movie?
Last week.
Why did we wait so long?
Because I didn't want to be thinking about how sad it was Sid Haig died the entire movie.
All this and more on Gory Storytime.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Storytime. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig, and this week we're starting a series of 4. The last 2 weeks we just did some newer releases, but now we're going to do a series of 4 sequels that, for whatever reason, we took forever to watch. And that's probably what the questions are going to be for each one.
Why did we wait so long?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
It is, because I did buy this the week it came out on DVD. So why did we just watch it? It's been a couple of years. That's weird.
It was still in its plastic.
Yeah.
I had to open it.
So, for different reasons, we had met some different horror people and stuff, and, just the idea of knowing that Sid Haig died and we would never have a chance to meet him.
And we met his
one of his co-stars, the guy who played Otis.
Co-stars, yeah.
So, yeah. Bill Moseley's a horror
huge
person
huge.
Throughout. But anyway, all right. So that's going to be the topic for 4 weeks is movies that I've owned.
Yeah.
And we just haven't got around to watching, not because, different reasons for each one. And all of them are sequels. We've kind of done something similar where it's you've had this Ghost Ship movie forever. Why haven't we watched it? Well, this is sequels that we liked the originals. That's the big thing for all of these, is we liked the OGs. But anyway, all right. Before actually, why don't we give a basic story?
Yes.
Line.
So they're back from the dead.
I mean, basically. No, I don't know if you've seen Devil's Rejects, but it went Houses of a Thousand Corpses, the Devil's Rejects, and then this. And it's the same people, same characters. The last one ended with them all getting killed. So this one started where, they didn't really die. They were just shot, but they survived and made it to jail. And it's the story of the ones that escaped from jail heading to Mexico. That's basically it.
Yep.
Crazy serial killers on their way to Mexico and in Mexico. And then a
so
Mexican
it's not quite the same
trying to get revenge.
As From Dusk Till Dawn?
No. Not at all. Other than it takes place in both the United States and Mexico. Other than that, there's not
crazy people trying to get to Mexico?
I mean, that only had one. And this has less
only
vampires.
One crazy person?
Yeah. George Clooney wasn't crazy in that movie, but why are we talking about that? Stick to the subject. Anyway, so that's basically the premise, is they're trying to get to Mexico, and then someone in Mexico isn't happy with them, and they have to battle it out.
Yes.
That's really the story.
It really is.
So why don't you check out the trailer and see what we're talking about.
The search for the fugitives known as the Devil's Rejects resulted in a violent clash with police. Chances for survival are less than 1,000,000 to 1.
There's no justice in this world. I am justice.
They're trying to blame us, but we didn't do it.
3 to 3.
Free
can have a real Day of the Dead. Any last words?
I still want to party.
I'm just a clown dancing for the sins of mankind.
Adventure's gone.
This is my death factory.
You are the product.
I love it. Like that.
Hello, America. Did you miss me?
All right. Some of the facts we're going to get to are going to talk, or at least one of them is going to talk about Sid Haig, because it's a big deal for this franchise, but we'll get into that in a minute. But first, the thing we really got to do is explain why we're doing this show. Because even though we say it week after week after week, people come up to us and they're like, you love horror movies. And it's like, I mean, yes, but what we really love is money. Money, 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 money. We are capitalist, money-loving people. And how do we make money doing a show for free on local community television?
Greed.
Well, we read these commercials from people that pay us money, 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 money.
Oh, yeah.
And we swear these actually exist and you can purchase them or go to them or do them or whatever they are.
Right.
And this week, we had, a paper airplane made out of a check fly into our house for all sorts of money for us to advertise these fine products.
Yes.
Gory Story Time is brought to you by Zombie World, not to be confused with the movie Zombieland. Zombie World is a theme park based on the music and movies of Rob Zombie. Check out our Dragula bumper cars, the Haunted House of 1,000 Corpses, and the Hall of Sherry, with nothing but animatronic Sherry Moon zombies based on each of his movies. There's the White Zombie Club and more. Zombie World. Come for the fun, leave if you can.
And by the Mexican Stereotype Tourism Board. We help you plan a Mexican vacation that shows you only the worst of the country. Drug cartels, violence, prostitution, donkey shows, and more. So if you are a person who thinks poorly of Mexico as a whole, for whatever reason, we'll give you just what you expect. The Mexican Stereotype Tourism Board. You already hate us, so why should we try?
All right. Anyway, anything else you want to say before we get into the behind-the-scenes info?
Go watch the movie.
He says that every week.
Do it anyway.
Because he always feels a little bad, not really, about spoilers. But we try not to do too many.
I mean, I learned beforehand that Batman was going to die in Endgame, so...
You're an idiot. Dumbass. All right. You want to go first?
Yes.
Let's get into the, what do you call it?
Meat and beef.
Why do you call it that?
Because, as I like to call it, it's the meat and beef of the show.
No, I was trying to make you change it up, and you ruined it.
How did I change it up? How do I
You didn't change it up. You tried to do it the same, but it doesn't sound right that way.
Yeah.
Just start.
Sadly, actor Sid Haig, who played Captain Spaulding, died only 5 days after the movie was released theatrically.
Director Rob Zombie revealed that the original script had a larger role for Sid Haig, though however, upon receiving word that Haig was in the hospital recovering from surgery, Zombie visited him and was alarmed at the drastic changes in his physique, most notably a significant amount of weight loss. Zombie realized Haig's health was in serious question and had to reconsider Captain Spaulding's prominence in the story, but he wanted to keep Haig in the film because Lionsgate was going to shut it down without Haig. No Haig, no film.
Wow.
Yeah. Plus, he was friends with the guy. Like, of course he wanted to.
The movie poster featuring the black and white eyes, mugshot style
Oh, not that one.
photos across the bottom and striking red font is meant to be a reference to the poster for 1976's Helter Skelter.
That's not the same poster.
No.
If we knew ahead of time, we could have sent him that poster, and it would have. But it doesn't matter.
If I had been thinking of it, we have a signed picture of Otis Driftwood
That's true. We do.
from this movie.
Well, no, we have it from the actor who plays Otis.
Well, yeah, but it's still from this movie.
But it doesn't say Otis Driftwood, you dummy.
Yes, it does.
He didn't sign it Otis.
It's the picture. It's the picture they're describing of him in the mugshot holding
But
the name that
he-
says Otis Driftwood.
But he didn't sign it that way, you dumbass. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, post-production was postponed for 5 months due to Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson's tour at the time.
In the film, the song Inagata Davida plays. Same song was requested by Bill Moseley's character Chop Top in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2
Which we reviewed also.
recently.
I mean, a few months ago, but yeah. The character of Carlos Perro was wearing one of Rob Zombie's iconic hats.
Okay. As he frequently did in all of his films, Rob Zombie cast 13 people who appeared in his earlier movies. Sherry Moon Zombie, Bill Moseley, Sid Haig, Jeff Daniel Phillips, Richard Brake, Sylvia Jeffries, Dee Wallace, Clint Howard, Daniel Roebuck, Sean Whalen, Richard Reel, Danny Trejo, and Dwayne Whitaker.
So all of them had worked with him at least once before.
And
Some
they
of them,
can all be
Sherry
seen
Moon,
in this movie.
have been in basically all of them. So not basically.
I think it's all of them.
Sherry Moon Zombie had to take archery lessons to learn how to properly use a bow and arrow, which makes sense.
Yes. Quite a few of the sets located on the 20th Century Fox backlot were heavily featured in the MTV series Teen Wolf, with hardly any modifications made from the show's set dressings.
So they left it just the way Rob Zombie left it, and Teen Wolf was like, well, we could just use that. What he did was better than what we would have done, basically. The name of the motel in Durango, Mexico, Estrella del Motel, doesn't really make any sense. Translated to English, it's Star of the Motel.
Well, Richard Brake character Winslow Foxworth Coltrane claimed to have night blindness. When they pull up at the first motel, Otis Driftwood moans he's tired as he's doing all the driving. Has to be a throwback when Jerry Goldsmith claimed the same in House of a Thousand Corpses when his friend Bill Hudley is moaning just like Otis B does in this.
Firefly, Captain Spaulding, and Otis Driftwood are also names of characters that were played by Groucho Marx in Groucho Marx Brothers, or the Marx Brothers movies.
The motel from Three from Hell the motel room the Three from Hell are given when they arrive in Durango, Mexico, is decorated with paintings of
Emiliano.
Okay, that one. Zapata. This is inaccurate. He was a warlord from southern Mexico during the country's revolution. The main warlord of the time from northern Mexico was Doroteo Arango, a.k.a.
Pancho Villa.
Okay.
Or Villa.
To this day, the Northern Mexico Pancho Villa continues to be a legendary folk hero, an idol, and a revered figure. Zapata is at best ignored, and at worst reveled in
Reviled.
Okay, whatever. Just like the Villa, whatever, in southern Mexico.
This film was shot entirely in Los Angeles, including the Mexico part.
Makes sense. Dee Wallace's character is an homage to the main character, I don't know,
Ilsa.
In the movie Ilsa. All right. The Wicked Warden.
Ilsa the Wicked Warden, also known as Ilsa the Mad Butcher. See,
Okay. Wanda the Wicked Warden and Greta the Torturer.
it had all 4 names, different times.
Okay.
On the film's third night in theaters, it was screened as a double feature with The Devil's Rejects.
Makes sense. The appearance of Wade Williams as a member of Baby's parole board may be poking fun at the fact that he played a prison warden in the TV series Prison Break.
Richard Brake is left-handed, so is Bill Moseley and Sid Haig.
Captain Spaulding's last words before execution were the exact same as Ted Bundy's. Give my love to my family and friends.
And the front of Warden Virgil Dallas Harper's house is a replica of the front of the house from the original The Desperate Hours. When Otis comes up with the plan to take the warden's family hostage to force him to free his sister, he says the plan is based on The Desperate Hours.
Yeah.
All right.
There is a website with the title Rotten Tomatoes.
This is true.
And they take all the critics' reviews professional critics' reviews of these movies,
Of which we
all
are not
movies.
two.
Right? And then they give a percentage of how many of those are positive reviews.
So whatever their number is, it's just the percent of
This is the
critics
percentage of people who are critics.
who liked it more than 50%, basically.
Yes,
So,
that's a 58%,
yeah,
which is rotten.
58% is pretty low, even for horror movies. The people also can vote on the same website and decide if they think it's positive or negative. Unfortunately for this movie, because the people with horror and with comedy, the people tend to be more accurate, in my opinion, usually, because they don't, they're the ones that are just fans of the genre. Well, only 56% liked this movie, so less than the critics.
Yeah.
Not much less, but
Not
still
much
less.
less, but less.
I don't think either are correct, but we'll get into that.
We will.
What was your least favorite part?
Okay. My least favorite part, and I know it's not their fault, because Sid Haig couldn't, but I wanted more Captain Spaulding.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
Especially
you could
knowing
feel,
we waited because of him.
you could feel that he wasn't there, and it was noticeably different because he wasn't there.
Not that I had a problem with the new guy,
With Richard Brake,
but he was not.
he's not Sid Haig.
Yeah, like,
And they didn't try to make him
No.
Sid Haig, so that helped.
to be fair, Rob knew better than to try to just have this be the same character, because wouldn't have worked. Made him crazy like the rest of them.
Crazy
but
like the rest of them,
different
but different crazy, and it was fine. But Id Haig has a magic when it comes to
especially these
this
movies.
character,
Yeah.
and you could feel the
Lack. I agree. My least favorite thing probably had to be, it was more story driven.
Yes.
And I don't mind that for most things, but these characters are just crazy murderers who like to, and they got Sherry Moon to do some of that too, just like randomly just murder dudes. But they should have been doing more of that on their way to Mexico. They spent more time working on the actual story, which, don't get me wrong,
I'm all for a story.
but
These characters don't want a story.
House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and this, all you need is a basic story.
And this had
And just
it
let
was,
them
it was really trying.
run all sorts of mucks.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
What's your favorite scene or favorite part?
Well, the senseless killing. I mean, because they did have
Some.
and it was great.
Oh, yeah, it was violent.
I mean, like, spoiler alert, but the big finale of them versus the Mexican drug cartel?
Well, don't get into how it ends, but just, it's bloody and it's fun.
It's disgusting, and it's awesome.
All right. My favorite thing had to be, honestly, it was just,
It was refreshing seeing a zombie movie without Sherry Moon. Oh, wait, no.
no, definitely not that. I don't think we'll ever see that.
No.
They seem truly in love, and I don't expect that to
Yeah,
change.
good for them, by the way.
Yeah.
But-
I don't have a problem with that. I actually like her acting. A lot of people complain about it, but
Underworld, on the other hand.
she doesn't. Well, that's not her.
No.
So let's get back to what my favorite part is. I guess my favorite part would be that they didn't just look at his sickness, Sid Haig, as a way to just go, I guess we're not doing this. You know what I mean? Like, Lionsgate was thinking about shutting it down without him, and I like that Zombie tried to figure out a way to keep him in
Still
it.
keep them.
Because I like this series, and, they needed to introduce a new character if it's going to move on, and it kind of gives a little respect to the character of Captain Spaulding. You know what I mean?
It does.
So I guess it's just, I hope they don't go too far by doing like more of these without him, because he'll be
You're gonna
noticed.
feel it.
I felt it in this, that he wasn't there as much, but like to give him one more thing before he passed.
Was awesome.
Yeah. Especially since it's a thing he had become well known for.
Yeah. I mean, his face is synonymous.
That's how, I
synonymous
think
with
that's the
Captain
character you
Spaulding.
met him through.
It absolutely is.
Right. We've seen him in other stuff since, but this was where you were like, oh, this dude. And I just, it was good to see him again.
It was.
It's almost like an uncle that you're just going to miss. You're like, God damn it, Dad.
The creepy, murdery uncle, but yes.
Oh, yeah, not like,
Not the uncle you bring your kids around,
well,
because he'll kill them.
right. Hopefully it's not an uncle you have. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this movie?
7.5.
Honestly, I'm going to go 6.5. I liked it. That's still a
Yeah,
positive
yeah.
review. But it's...
I think that the other two are better.
I do too. And Devil's Rejects is my favorite of the three, and that's the middle one.
And yeah, I mean,
The first
it was a
one
lot
was
of
okay.
fun. It was absolutely a lot of fun, but it was missing the magic touch that Sid Haig has on these movies for 80% of the movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it was touching that they kind of they ended his character in a way that was fitting for if that
For
character
him.
had to go.
Yeah. Not that it needs to be said, because obviously with the way that we've been talking in this episode, and we already said it on the show when it happened, but like this episode is dedicated in the memory.
Of Sid Haig? Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Has to be. How do you talk about his last movie and not dedicate it to him?
like this is.
But, all right. Anything else you want to say before we wrap her up?
I'll go watch the movie.
Yeah, that again. All right. And then over to the side.
You can watch this show on Fact TV channel 1082, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
You can like us on Facebook. And like I say every week, I don't just mean us. I mean Fact TV, the people who make the show every week.
Yes, yes.
We appreciate the studio time and the work from Alex, who runs the place, and Colin, who's usually our guy that
Yes.
does all the
Our
camera work.
switcher dude. You can go to
Uploads it for us.
Yes, you can go to fact8.com and watch a bunch of the back episodes of this, as well as many other hours of footage that is entertainment and otherwise on their website.
Yeah, and you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase.
I'm at Jiggly Firm Brain. I only tweet things that he says that I find funny.
And he needs to get back to doing more of that.
I do.
He's missed some gems.
I have.
All right.
And until-
and definitely look it up on YouTube, Gory Story Time. The two things that'll come up is the page for Fact TV and my page. like, subscribe, smash the notification bell, all that stuff. You know, like, I don't make any money off this show. I really don't. Won't that way either, because we use the trailers and stuff. But it's not about that. It's like, I just want to see people that get entertained by our thoughts.
Yes.
If it's entertaining, share it.
And until next week with another prolonged sequel, I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig, and
Sweet dreams.